Former tribal people, what's the craziest thing you witnessed back at home? I was 12 when our village got its first radio. We didn't have electricity back then, so this thing ran on a solar panel that some missionary left behind before he moved on to the next village. For the first few weeks, it was the most incredible thing any of us had ever seen. Every evening, people would gather in a circle around it, just listening. Voices from cities we'd never been to, music we'd never heard, weather reports for places hundreds of miles away. It felt like actual magic. My Uncle Leo was obsessed with it. He'd sit there for hours, slowly turning the dial, finding new stations. Sometimes we'd get Spanish broadcasts from the capital. Other times it was Portuguese from across the border. Once we even picked up what sounded like American pop music, though the signal was so weak you could barely hear it. But after about a month, weird things started happening. One evening, my Aunt Rita was listening to a news broadcast when she suddenly went pale. She said the radio had just mentioned Miguel Orozco, a man from our village who'd died 5 years earlier in a hunting accident. Everyone told her she must have misheard, but she swore she heard his full name clear as day. A week later, another woman named Clara claimed she heard her own voice coming through the speaker, talking about things she'd never said out loud to anyone. She got so scared she wouldn't go near the radio after that. Then the static started. One night, a massive storm rolled in, lightning everywhere, rain pounding the roofs. The radio had been left on by accident, and it started playing nothing but static. But here's the thing, people began saying the static wasn't random. They said it sounded like chanting, old chanting in our language, the kind our great-grandparents used to do during ceremonies. But the broadcast was coming from a Spanish-speaking station 200 miles away. The village elders got suspicious fast. They called a meeting and said the box was carrying unwelcome spirits. Not the good kind that protect you, the other kind, the ones that trick you and make you sick. I thought they were being paranoid. It was just a radio, science, technology, not magic. Then came the night I'll never forget. It was past midnight. I was sleeping in my hammock near the communal area where we kept the radio. Everyone else was asleep. Suddenly, I woke up to the loudest, most horrible scream I've ever heard in my life. It was coming from the radio speaker. Long, high-pitched, and completely inhuman, like someone being torn apart. I froze, couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Within seconds, people were running from every direction. My mom grabbed me. My uncle was shouting. Everyone was asking what happened. The scream had stopped, but the radio was still on, just hissing that awful static. Nobody slept that night. By morning, one of our elders, a man named Tulio, had collapsed. He couldn't speak. His eyes were open, but he didn't respond to anything. We carried him to a truck and drove him to a clinic in the nearest city, but he never recovered. He stayed like that for 2 weeks before he passed away. The village went into full panic mode. That's when the elders made their decision. They said the radio had to go, immediately. No discussion. They built a fire pit in the middle of the village and performed a full cleansing ritual. Smoke, herbs, prayers, the whole thing. Then they grabbed the radio, threw it into the fire, and smashed the solar panel with rocks until there was nothing left but twisted metal and melted plastic. I cried like a baby. That radio was our only connection to the outside world. It was the coolest thing we'd ever had, and now it was gone. But after that, the strange things stopped. No more voices, no more static chanting, no more screams. Life went back to normal. I left the village when I was 16 to go to school in the city. I tried to forget about the whole thing, told myself it was just superstition and coincidence. But a few years ago, I got curious. I started researching online, trying to figure out if anyone else had experienced something similar with old radios, and that's when I found it. Turns out, the radio we had wasn't just a regular commercial model. It had been modified. Someone had added a second receiver inside, meant for picking up low-frequency signals. Frequencies that weren't meant for public broadcast. Military frequencies. What we'd been hearing wasn't spirits or ghosts or anything supernatural. It was interference from a secret military communication channel that bounced off the mountains near our village. The screams, the static chanting, even the voices saying names of dead people. It was all fragments of coded transmissions getting scrambled together with regular radio signals.